seminar today. Our speaker is Jean-Pierre Marquenot from University of Angers, France. He's working on many, field of mathematical and physics, also related to surely differential geometry. And today he should speak on the differential geometry of groups of diffeomorphism and of non-Forman pseudo differential operators. Please, Jean-Pierre.
Well, first of all, thank you very much for this invitation to give this talk in your seminar. It is a real pleasure for me. So what I will expose today is surely the beginning of a long-term project of investigation, because I will raise more questions than answers. So let me say that first, the groups that I will consider are more or less very well known in mathematical physics and integrable systems, but the viewpoint that I will take is to my knowledge new.
Sorry, Jean-Pierre, could you make the slides full screen if that's possible?
I try to get the link with okay. It did not work, but now it works. Okay.
Yes. Okay. Perfect. Thank you.
So in fact, there are three main references, but I gave 4 here. The first one is really the beginning, and I will not speak a lot about it, except for the definition of the groups that I will consider. The main examples that I will share with you come from the 3 next references, and I will quickly specialize to some special groups. More results are given in these references, but I want to make an overview of what can be described efficiently, let's say. So what do I call pseudo differential operator? Because here I need to say really what I consider, because especially in integrable systems, pseudo differential operators are formal series, and they are not true operators. Here I consider true operators, that is, they locally write with this along this formula. Locally means that we are on a manifold, so we have to use smooth partition of the unit in order to have safe formulas locally, which glue globally. So here F is a smooth section of a complex vector bundle. F hat is a Fourier transform of F, and here you have a symbol which is defined locally, which can be also described more safely in the cotangent bundle of M with values into endomorphisms on E, but I will not go into these details because, as I said before, I will specialize, and I will specialize to M equal to S1. So here it helps to skip many technical problems. So this symbol has to have an asymptotic expansion. Here O is the order of the pseudo-differential operator. So when you see this formula, it can be a little heavy, but when you think at differential operators, then here you have a finite sum. O is a classical order of differential operators, and you have a polynomial in C. So when you deal with differential operators, you need you need often to speak about spectral analysis. So you need a parametrics, and it is a class where you can take the parametrics of a differential operator. It is also a class where you can take Kit kernels. It is a point which cannot be performed with formal PDOs, since they are in a class where here you can put any order O. It means that we say that they are of order minus infinity. They are smoothing. They send all L2 sections into smooth sections. And it is exactly what is not catched in formal PDOs. So you can take gauge transformations. Gauge transformations are very simple. Here you drop the Xi. And you can take the square root of a positive Laplacian. So it is a very nice class to deal with all the operators that we need in mathematical physics, and these are true operators. And in this class, there are, of course, some problems, but a restricted class has been considered by Kontsevich and Lifshitz in a very, very long preprint. They called it odd class, and they assume that, moreover, each partial symbol here is K homogeneous. It is given by this relation. So K homogeneous, it means that if you take the formal parts, these are exactly the Adler series, the formal PDOs that are considered in integrable systems. And in this class, you cannot catch the square root of the Laplacian. But for all the other operators, except for some values, the parametrics, but you can do the things safe clearly. And one remark that I made is that these algebras are stable under the action of the automorphism group of E. So what does that mean? Where does it come from? It comes only from a change of local trivialization of the complex vector bundle. And that's all. So this fact is very simple, but it leads to a better analysis of these groups. That is, the automorphisms of a principal bundle. It is a semi-direct product, and a semi-direct product with a diffeomorphism group and the gauge group. The gauge group, as I said before, it is a part of odd class pseudo-differential operators. And then when you try to stabilize the group generated by invertible classical pseudo-differential operators and automorphisms, then you get something which is a semi-direct product of the invertible classical pseudo-differential operators and the diffeomorphism group. It is a construction which needs the group of automorphisms, because otherwise the computation of the true formulas for for the semi-direct product are really complicated. Omori tried it in a more in a much bigger class, and he had some problems. He managed to circumvent them, but it is not satisfying to work with. We know that there are some structures, but actually they are clear only on the automorphism group. So here on this group, you can take a caution by smoothing operator, and you have also formal operators the same way. So formal operators, I say it again, these are not true operators. So how can we understand these groups? They can be understood as Fourier integral operators, putting the group of diffeomorphisms in the phase function. So here I have to say that there are other constructions which do not consider diff of M, but diff of T star M. So and take the symplectic diffeomorphisms and so on. Very slowly.
Sorry, Jean-Pierre, CN star E. What is the CN star E on the right hand side? Closer.
I did not understand your question.
The notation CN star of E.
On psi.
CN. So that is you take the how to say, semi-direct product is a diffeomorphism, and that E is a fiber, right?
Other one.
There are, in fact, there are two fibers. There is a fiber over diff of M. It is the central extension, and there is also a fibration over CL star. It is a double fibration which is not really understood.
It's other one, order.
Oh, there is also a filtration by the order on CL star.
It's order one, order. Yeah.
Yes, and this filtration goes into a filtration on the CL star diff, of course, but if you want to understand better, let me share to you one
Sorry,
problem.
just to I think Fan's question was also my question. Just the notation CL. What does CL stand for?
CL means for classical pseudo-differential operation.
These are the actual operators. Okay, the symbols of the operators.
No, not the symbols. The operators.
Okay.
The operators. These ones.
Okay, thank you.
It is CL, and CL star is the group of invertible elements.
I see. Okay.
So these are really true operators, and okay. So if it was a question, so maybe I can go on. So with this setting, we catch many groups that are of interest for let's say integrable systems. For example, the base loop group. So I already spoke about gauge transformations. Diff of S1. So I gave some sample equations which are obtained from geodesics on diff of S1, but there are others. To my knowledge, the first example where a semi-direct product appears is the ideal gas equation. So there is also MHD equations, but I do not know very well this type of example. So I give these three example, these three class of examples to motivate this larger setting. So these three settings are well, let's say, well studied, and you can remark that these are metrics which are metrics inherited from the metrics on smooth sections on the bundle, L2 metric, H1 metric, and so on. And but in this in our big group there are many other subgroups, and the remarks that I made and we made with one of my collaborators, Enrique Reyes, is that there can be many other interesting geometries than these ones, and to our state of development, we can give two principal group of interest. So the more simple one is the group of bounded invertible bounded haute class PDOs. So it is a Fréchéli group. So it is not so difficult to prove it, because it is embedded into a group of invertible linear operators acting on a Hilbert space. So well, so we had to state this for our work, but before that, in 2012 or 2013, Sylvie Peicha also gave a group of the same kind and made a central extension of the group of diffeomorphisms by it approximately the same way, but she did not go much further. So I will investigate first this group, and then no, sorry, in a second part of this talk, this group, and in the first part, I would like to show you what we found on a group which contains the group of diffeomorphisms which are orientation preserving, with a group which is more or less a group generated by integral operators, that is identity plus the classical pseudo-differential operators of order -1, which are haute class. So order -1, this means that in particular they will be Hilbert-Schmidt, and so compact and so on. So let me begin with the second group, the last one. And why do I begin with this? Because I already raised a question about the interaction between diff of S1 and CL star. These are actually in the literature there are some formulas which are given. They are old, and they are useful for micro-local analysis and so on, but the problem is that they are very complicated, and there is no higher structure which is which is described actually. So what we did is that we have changed a little bit the approach, and instead of considering the adjunct action of dfs1 into CL star, we took the adjunct action of CL star to diff S1. And in this very particular class, we have some amazing results. That is, when a group of diffeomorphism acts on the right on smooth sections, you can apply a Fa-Di Bruno formula, which gives the Taylor extension of the composed map. And well, let me first give you the development of all of the remarks we made. First, the map which gives the infinite jet of a smooth function is in the formal series with coefficients in CL of S1. So it is only exponential of h dx. It is easy to calculate. So now we take the infinite jet of S0 minus 1 of F. So S0 minus 1 is in the previous class. That is, it is in CL minus 1 star. It is 1 plus an operator of order minus 1. And we compose it by a diffeomorphism G. So applying Fa-Di Bruno formula, it gives directly this, the first line, and the coefficients are given by the derivatives of G and the Bell's formula. But our remark here is that we have dk over dxk, and in this setting, if you add a 0 at the beginning of the formula, so you have an operator UH, which is well known in for an integrable hierarchy called the Kadom-Pedica-Villi hierarchy. So it is only a remark, but we did not expect that. So there are some changes of formal coordinates in order to have formal variables Tn. And what do we get? Why is this operator UH important? So first, I recall that if we take formal parts, we have Adler series, which are of this type. So it is important because the Kadom-Pedica-Villi hierarchy is expressed in terms of first order formal pseudo-differential operators, and it is a hierarchy which depends on an infinite number of formal variables Tn. The solutions are formal series in T1, T2, and so on. And it is expressed in this form. In this form, the plus means that we only consider formal symbols which are non-negative. So here you cut at 0. So this integrable hierarchy is well known since many years and well studied and so on. And what we got is that we can extend it to non-formal PDOs. The initial conditions are H and S0. So H here means that we have a scaling parameter. The scaling parameter is introduced from the Taylor series, but this scaling parameter does not make more difficulty, because the scale we show also that the KP hierarchy is invariant under this scaling. So we have a KP hierarchy, and UH that I showed you before is the standard dressing operator which enables to construct the full solution L from L0. It is part of R matrix theory, and our solution, when we take the formal part, we recover the classical KP hierarchy. So it is very strange, because actually the KP hierarchy is known as derived from Sato-Grassmannians, and here we do not have Sato-Grassmannians. I will give more details in the outlook section, but there are some open questions in the between the link about the link between these groups and integrable systems. There are surely bigger structures behind. So now I have finished with the first part, and the second part will be more heavy.
Question.
The second.
Sorry.
Sorry?
I missed the definition of S0. I think you used it on the previous slide, but I didn't quite
Yes.
follow what it was.
Okay. S0. S0 comes from it is an arbitrary operator which is of sorry, of this form. It is inside of this. So it is identity plus a Hilbert-Schmidt operator.
Okay, and the formula that you wrote works for any S0 of this type.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So it is our starting point, in fact. So what we have noticed is that if you insert S0 into the classical formula for the initial value of the KP hierarchy with scaling H, of course, but anyway, then everything works. In fact, these are algebraic calculations, and they work. And with an extended framework for smoothness, which we use, which is diffeologies, we can prove that there is smooth dependence on the initial conditions, S0 and H.
Okay, thank you.
So it is the first, let's say, question. It is we did not expect that. So let me go now to the second group, class of groups. And for this, I need an old result from Kontsevich and Wifik. So I already mentioned them the definition of haute class classical pseudo-differential operators, but they were motivated by spectral analysis and by renormalized determinants. So what they noticed is that on this class there is a nice extension of the classical trace of trace class operators. It is the trace of Kontsevich and Dietrich, which is defined as a trace took by zeta renormalization procedure. And the point is that on this specific class, for well-chosen operators Q, then we have a linear extension of a trace which does not depend on Q and which is a true trace. It is a trace which vanishes on brackets. It is a true trace, so for example, for smoothing operators, it is not vanishing, and it gives a really different background from the background given by the Adler trace or the Wodzicki residue, which vanish on smoothing operators. We have here something which a construction which does not pass to formal operators, and this trace, so we have to say more geometric properties, and these traces are invariant under the action of our groups. So here I do not consider bounded operators. You can take any order, and under the action of the adjoint action of this big group, it is invariant. So we can make geometry on it with it, and with Enrique Reyes we decided to extend let's say naively the classical formula for metrics on groups of matrices, by replacing the classical trace by the trace of Kontsevich and Dietrich. So here we added a Q0. We called it Q0 because in our mind it needed to be of the same type of Q just before, but in fact not. It needs only to be self-adjoint and injective and haute class for the setting on M equals to S1. So here, what we prove is that it gives a non-degenerate Hermitian form and so on. So if we take the real part, we have a non-degenerate the symmetric bilinear form. So technically, it means that this non-degenerate symmetric bilinear form will be helpful to give a pairing in order to construct Hamiltonian dynamics on polynomial functions and so on. So it is the idea in background in our constructions. But let me go step by step. When we consider the group CL0 star odd, we need its Lie algebra. It is a very nice Frege-Lie group because we have the full algebra, the Lie algebra, And with these remarks, we say that we extend the Hermitian form by right invariance. So we have we need, in fact, our best results are in the Riemannian case. So I will talk about the pseudo-Riemannian form on the group, the pseudo-Riemannian metric on the group. So what can I say with this kind of pseudo-Riemannian metrics? It is first that they are only pseudo-Riemannian, and they have the property to vanish on multiplication operator, on gauge transformation. And if you consider also unbounded operators by taking the trick of diffeological groups instead of Frechet-Lie groups, then you can see also that they vanish on vector fields. So it is we have isotropic elements. We cannot be definite positive for Q0 equals to identity, but with not many efforts, we can produce examples for any Q, taking the square roots and so on, trying to change a little bit the examples to adapt them. We can have them for many choices of operators Q0. So this first remark shows that we are very far from Sobolev metrics, and I will discuss, if I have time, in the outlook section about what we can expect from these pseudo-Riemannian metrics. Then, if we have pseudo-Riemannian metrics, we can try to make Levi-Civita connections. It is not so easy, because in order to be sure to have a Levi-Civita connection, you need to have a strong metric. And here it is everything but strong. So we need to check by hand that the adjoint of the adjoint operator exists. And it is a point which cannot be done on the full groups that I considered alone of unbounded operators and not haute class. I had only Riemannian metrics that is that they have torsion, and I could not delete the torsion. Here there is a true adjoint of add. So we have computed it, and so we can remove the torsion in Riemannian metric in Riemannian connections and have a Levi-Civita connection. So
Just here, that's what here is a manifold, is a pressure manifold, or you consider diffeological.
Oh, okay. I said diffeological. Yes. So when you are on CL0, you have a Frechet structure. But if you consider only CL, I forgot the odd, the subscript odd here. Sorry. But when you consider only CL, the class of classical pseudo-differential operators at any order, then you have a filtration by the order, and you take a direct limit. algebras, and this Dirac limit does not match with any atlas. It was a remark by Adams, Ratu, and Schmidt in the 80s. They tried to give some nice structure on groups of formal pseudo-differential operators, and they could say is that for bounded operators it works. It is an ILH structure, but after, if you consider unbounded, then you have to take the direct limit, and they say that, well, everything goes well, but we cannot say more. So here again, diffeologies encode this everything goes well, you see. But,
Yeah, not very good, because I have to say, I think that is the first kind of existence on the Levi-Civita connection on diffeologicon, because I try to construct such a connection on diffeologicon, space, and then I have to change to spatial setting. I discussed also with how to say, Iglesias. You see in his book, he just skips it, just like, and he suggests me to consider such a thing, but then I different. Yes, that is why I asked her. So that should be very interesting.
yes, constructing a connection on a diffeological space, it is a true problem. There are some constructions, and the same problems appears in optimal transport. They need connections on the subology space H1/2, which does not carry atlas. So they use diffeologies, and they try to give a connection. It is a big problem, open problem and big problem. Here, very fortunately, it works, but
yeah, congratulations. Yeah.
So I did not know. Okay, so I said that the adjoint of add exists. So we can speak about the Euler-Lagrange form of geodesic equations. So the first formula is very standard. You can find it in other contexts, and there is an observation that in this context we can have an equivalent formulation in terms of Lax pairs, which I give here, with specific choices of operators G. Well, it is actually very formal, because these operators, we know that we need to have some algebraic properties on them, but of course the choices are so wide that there are many things that are unknown. But for one specific choice, there are some interesting results. Particular, yes, because G equals to identity, so we cannot take a choice. Well, it is the simplest choice, in fact. And for Q0, remember that we need a self-adjoint operator which is injective. So here again we took a very simple example. We take the Laplacian, the positive Laplacian, but we have to add the projection on the kernel. So with the projection on the kernel, it makes it injective. And this part, the projection of the kernel, I insist on it. It does not pass to formal operators. So it is not a differential operator. This is truly a pseudo differential operator. And then with the lax formulation, we can deduce some integrals of motions which are of this form, of the form ik, which are trace of x q0 power k. So here again, we need to they can all vanish, of course. So we need to show that there are enough integrals of motion to say that the equations are interesting. And the answer again comes from a smoothing operator. That is, we take identity in order. Okay, there is a mistake here. We take identity to have an operator which is not all in the smoothing area, but we have here the heat kernel, and we consider multiplication operator on the left and on the right. So the second part of this operator will be smoothing, and we compute it for the Fourier base. So here you can change a of x bar by a of x minus 1, of course. And what is obtained is that all the ik are positive. So we have an infinite number of integral of non-trivial integral of a motion. This point has raises many questions, because here we have some operator which is unbounded as Q0, and which does not give rise to some let's say sub-OF metric. And actually, in classical homotopy theory, we say, maybe too quickly, that for homotopy theory, the groups of compact operators does not have any meaning, because 1 plus compact operators, this gives only the index, and well, there are some tricks that are not so clear. So here are the big remarks that we made, and how much time do I have, because I must know what I can say or not. Can you tell me what how many times? I did not hear you.
Sorry, you have 10 minutes more, Jean-Pierre.
10 minutes. Okay.
Yeah.
So it will be sufficient.
Yeah.
So here we have truly infinite dimensional problems. They do not project on finite dimensional PDEs as we do often in integrable systems. In other words, these are not projectable equations, and they carry some nice properties. So which are the key points which are misunderstood actually. Let me first come back to the very beginning, to the KP hierarchy. The KP hierarchy, as I said before, is constructed in a group of invertible operators which commute up to Hilbert's limit operators with a sign of a Dirac operator. So this is the Presley-Segal group, and the Presley-Segal-Graspanian generalize the Sato-Graspanian, which gives a deduction of the KP hierarchy from the dynamics on a special kind of coordinate. So these formulas are algebraic, and we find here a subgroup of the group of Presley and Segal. It is a subgroup, but not a Lie subgroup, because it is not topologically embedded into GLREST. You can think about the Lie algebra of DFS1. These are not bounded operators, so it is very easy to see it. And on this group, we have another approach, which gives also the KP hierarchy. So there is surely a link between our approach with the classical approach, maybe something which is related to the amenability on DFS1, which could make some Fourier transform and so on. But actually, there are two constructions from almost the same groups, almost the same settings, and which are non-compatible and which gives the same KP hierarchy. So the KP hierarchy, we know that it is a very central hierarchy in the theory of integrable systems, that it furnishes many integrals of the motions for KdV, for Boussinesq, for many things. But it surely did not give all its treasures. So it is the first point. We surely have to understand better the correspondence of all the things that are made in the Presley-Segal group. We should try to make them on this group, because they are not equivalent. Then after that, another ingredient which is central is smoothing operator. It is central at many steps for the Kontsevich and Vichy trace, in order to prove that we have an infinite number of integrals of the motion, and moreover, the trace is vanishing on the previous groups that I mentioned before. DFS, it gives a vanishing form on DFS1 on the gauge group. So it could say that it has something to do with a kind of filtration or fibration, maybe. Here again, there are many candidates, R matrices and so on, or diffeological bundles, but it is still an open question. And this open question may raise some interesting features on for non-integrable systems. Then after, since we have small subgroups, a natural question is what happens on the full group. Let's say CL star odd times DFS1. Even we drop the odd class, we drop the assumption of boundedness. There should be some relations, and but there are some technical problems. Conceived can-be trace also extends, but it extends to linear forms that do not have the trace property. So it is a problem of cohomology in the algebra of unbounded non-formal PDOs. This cohomology actually is not known. And then coming back from the old problems, the very normalized determinants, they are of true importance in physics. And again, they are related to the index. Well, so they are related to the index on S1, but changing S1 to M, there are also problems with renormalized determinants, and here there are many open questions. So I hope that I have drawn your attention to this very, I would say, very difficult setting, but very stimulating too. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Jean-Pierre. Let us thank the speaker. Yes.
Sorry, I did not hear what you.
Sorry, thank you very much for your very interesting talk. Yeah. So I hope that everybody also can. Jean-Pierre, I have the two questions.
Yes.
That you say about I think that's much how to surprising for me because of many part on that you can rise existence of Levi-Civita combination, and therefore you can rise geodesic equation, right?
Yes.
And then this geodesic equation also give you a new interpretation of some classical differential equation or Pearson differential equation, how to say, like a hydrodynamic equation using.
Oh,
yeah.
It is actually a problem because these geodesic equations, for example, do not rely on any energy function first, and then for hydrodynamic type. Of course, we can make formally some big structure with infinite dimensional connection, and say, well, we have a hydrodynamic type equation, of course, but except the formulas which will be hydrodynamic-like, if we consider the possible properties of these equations, I am not sure at all that that it will have the same properties as finite dimensional hydrodynamic type systems. You see, if we have hydrodynamic type systems, we have not only this formulation, but some kinds of symmetries, some kinds of flows which are more or less understood. And here it is no, we cannot say that actually because of the weakness of all the constructions. We have to check everything by hand. So hard properties of hydrodynamic type equations, it is too early to say that we have. So hydrodynamic, yes, in order to say to a referee or to an editor that it is nice, but after that, no.
Okay, then a second question is mentioned about the cosmology of interesting class of non-formal PDOs. And then you have some idea how to construct the,
I have some ideas, yes, but you see, in this infinite dimensional setting, often ideas are false because we do not have any analog from finite dimensional geometry.
right.
It's I prefer to say I have no idea even if it is not true, because no, there are we are really in a short range site. It's not
Yeah.
so easy.
Yeah, I understood. I also try to construct something variant like that on loose space. Yeah, but that is how to say, very difficult. I have some idea. It would work on the finite dimensional, but on infinite dimensional, it diverges. Yeah, yeah. Okay. So somebody has some more question.
Yes, I had a hopefully short question. So I know that you were using diffeology in some way, but I think it didn't feature prominently in the talk as far as I can tell. So at what point do you need to introduce some diffeological machinery where, say, Banach or Fréchet geometry doesn't work anymore?
Okay, principally at two steps.
Mm-hmm.
Please let me show you the slides. Okay, first here you see that we have formal series. Even if we have if we had a Fréchet algebra here, when you take formal series, of course, you can make an infinite product of Fréchet spaces and so on. But in a previous work that we made with also with Enrique Reyes, we saw that in order to state well-posedness of the KP hierarchy, we need to pass over the Fréchet case and consider groups, especially the group defined by Moulaz in the 80s. These are, in the literature, algebraic groups, and they cannot have any atlas. And taking the infinite product, all what we have as a choice is to consider diffeologies. Then, if we take diffeologies, for this very specific case, we have a group, a diffeological group, which has no Lie algebra. It has a tangent space at the identity, but it is not a Lie algebra. And what we did is that we constructed smaller diffeologies which have a Lie algebra and which enables to make a safe theory of integrable systems. So and the machinery is the same for so what we did first was for formal PDOs, and the same is needed for non-formal PDOs, because here in CL of S1C, it is not. It is a Frechet structure, but it is a Frechet structure inherited from two ways. The first way is that we consider formal symbols, the formal partial symbols. So it gives first a Frechet structure. And we need also to consider a Frechet structure on the kernels of the operator and mix them. So it is a Frechet structure, but very hard. And then we take series. So for the Frechet structure or even for locally convex structure on the algebra, maybe it works, but it's very hard. And what is the good point of diffeologies is that on diffeologies you have a diffeology called nebulae. It is from Patrick Iglesias' thesis. You take all the smooth maps from an open subset of a Euclidean space to the algebra, and then it makes a diffeology, the biggest diffeology that you can consider, and you can make infinite products of it. It is again the same kind of diffeology and so on. So it is very safe to consider out of the considerations of Atlas, open subsets, and so on. It really clarifies the points for the goal, which is differentiation and smoothness. In fact, we cannot pass over all the technical difficulties. We are not smart enough, let's say. Since we are not smart enough, we go to diffeologies and make safe the field. So it is the first point. For the KP hierarchy, we need it, and for unbounded operators, again, we need it, because, as I said before, for unbounded operators, for the group of the unit of CL, not bounded but unbounded, there is no chart. So we have to take a direct limit. And different.
Sorry, can I just clarify? When you say there's no chart, you mean like you don't know what the correct manifold, Frechet manifold structure is, or there's no chart as in there's some obstruction, like there's a conical singularity somewhere, or what do you mean no chart?
Okay, no chart means that we are not able technically to give a chart and even an adapted topology for this chart. That is, if you have a class of bounded operators, okay, you embed it into bounded operators on the Hilbert space, and then you pull back the chart. Approximately, it is a procedure. So it makes a safe background for giving the charts from a Banach grouping. Then, when you pass to the Frechet case, it can work, but if you look at the settings that exist, actually, the best setting is for this is ILB setting from Omori, and it needs also. In fact, it is based on a tower of Banach spaces, but and the Frechet space is a projective limit. But at the top of the tower, on the first Banach space, you need also an open subset. So for this tower, for the beginning of this tower, you need bounded operators. If you pass to unbounded operators, you do not have anything at the top. So actually, technically, there is nothing to say about it, because there is no adequate let's say, implicit function theorem. And it is the point that is in the that is, let's say, more or less. There is a trial of development in the book of Kriegel and Michler when they talk about smoothness outside of open domains. They are fully aware of these kind of problems, but and they propose the setting of Prolicher spaces, which is a subcategory of diffeology. But the nice thing about diffeologies is that they are really much nice for.
Okay, I think I see what
any-
kind of problem you refer to.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
So let us, if there are no more questions, let us thank the speaker again, yes. And then Jean-Pierre, thank you very much. Yeah, I shall look at Ypres Israel, yeah, because that I really want to understand in how you construct the Levi-Civita convention. In this year, Ypres, right?
I did not catch exactly the question. It was about the Levi-Civita connection. That's it.
Yeah, so you know it's riots in this year, yeah, Ypres.
Yeah.
Yeah, I shall read it so that I just want to ask if is that in the paper you put in the April, right? The very first slide, and you say about the yeah, your paper. So yeah, this yeah.
The last one.
The very first one where you say on the yes, this is rigid body equation, right? That you construct the Levi-Civita convention, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
And we
I should.
construct it in a larger class. You know, we do not have only S1. We do not have only this restricted class of metrics. We have a wider class of metrics, and we make well. In fact, we called it rigid body equations because we really we fully follow the classical, well, classical, not so classical, but what is done on rigid body equations on these bigger spaces. So it was Enrique's idea to call it rigid body equation, so I followed him. But yes, anyway, it's more or less the idea is more than rigid body.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much. Yeah. So see you sometime later. Yeah. Or we can discuss later. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
I hope so.